WhiskyCast. Brought to you by Redbreast. The definitive single pot still Irish whiskey. Those in the know Redbreast.
Alan Winchester became the Glenlivet's Master Distiller in 2009, following the retirement of Jim Cryle. 6 years later, he's marking his 40th anniversary in the Scotch whisky industry. Following a Q&A session with distillery visitors during the Spirit of Speyside Festival, we sat down for a conversation. 40 years, huh?
Aye.
Doesn't seem like it, does it?
No, it's been a blur. Yes. No, it's rolled in. I used to laugh at the guys in the distillery that used to say they'd been there 15, 20 years. I said, I hope I'm not like them, but I'm worse than them now, I think.
You're a full lifer now, I guess.
Yeah, my whole working life has been distilling. Yeah.
How'd you get started?
By accident, like a lot of these things. I'd left Keith Grammar School, the Master Distiller distillery in Glenkeith. I had set myself out to be in a life of, I was good to be a sailor. I got a job showing visitors around a distillery, and the rest's history, really. Mm-hmm.
But you started in coopering too after that, right?
Yes, first few years I worked in a small independent distillery, Glenfarclas, and then I moved to the Glenlivet distillers, and I worked in the cooperage to start with, and then worked in various departments there.
And then left?
And I returned to Glenfarclas for a few years again, and then I joined Pernod Ricard, or then Campbell Distillers.
How's the whiskey changed over the years? With the change in production techniques, with the bigger stills, with the bigger output, how's the whiskey changed?
Whiskey mark has remained very close to what I remember, and also I've had lots of fun in this job over the years tasting older whiskies going back a while, and seeing them. If you ask me the biggest change would be in consistencies. I've used Four Roses already today. I read Al Young's book about the spirit, and very much the same sort of things, evolutions that we went through. There was a big unlocking of the mysteries, the science behind some of the things is great. I think the beauty of the whiskey industry, it allows so many companies still to survive, and also there's so many new entrants in the industry, and coming from your neck of the woods, Bill Owen keeps me in touch with the fantastic work that's been done over there. And I think that's a great thing for the world of whiskey, and it just awakens things. I think it keeps everybody fresh and vibrant. I think that's a good thing.
I think this whole craft distilling movement is really nothing more than just the next generation of big guys coming along, because if you look at it, George Smith started out as a craft distiller, as a moonshiner. Everybody started out as a craft distiller.
Absolutely. There's the little still running out the back there. The only thing I would appeal sometimes is the big guys are attacked in a sense. And, you know, the big guys are doing their thing. I think that's a great thing. I think what we do is fantastic. And I'm not paid to say that. I passionately believe what we're doing is great for what we're doing. I also warn a lot of other guys is, you keep an eye on your model, we'll keep an eye on our model. Now, if you go to the mighty Diageo, you still have worm terms, you've still all these things, you've still have this, and you've still this search for flavours, etc.
You guys are trying to get even bigger now, aren't you? I know there's plans underway for another expansion over the next few years, right?
Yes, but what we're doing at Glenlivet is that we're securing a lot of things for the future. We're securing a lot of the things round about. We're carrying out enhancements on the site with things. Yeah, we may look at expansion that has come on. We have submitted plans to the local authority. We're within the Cairngorm National Park, so we have been speaking to these folk. But it's part of the things to protect the Glenlivet that's here, the craft way. We hear a lot about craft distilling, and We're still doing it the same way. Though we've started from small roots, we're still doing that. I've been speaking in my, I call it my ramblings or lectures, call it what you like, is that we're still aware of the way the spirit was made in the past. So we hope we're still true to that. I think we are, and I've used the examples of the older whiskies to see the characters that we have in the newer whiskies are all there and in the right balance, etc. Also, as the industry evolves, the other one you were going to say to me, I must admit, I've seen a lot more peat back in Speyside.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I've seen.
Which we've never seen in Glenlivet.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yet.
Yeah.
Are you playing with peat?
Yeah. It sounds like the election in Scotland here. I'm not going to answer the question correctly, am I? We always look at everything. We're always looking at things that are going on. Yes. Yeah.
The most recent thing you looked at was age statements, the new Founders Reserve.
Founders Reserve, but...
Explain the reasoning behind this, because we're used to seeing that Glenlivet 12-year-old, the 15, the 18.
Absolutely.
And now a no age statement version?
These products will exist. They may not, the 12 may not exist in certain markets. I think the Founders Reserve, I've been speaking about it, is the Founders Reserve allowed us to go into the inventory of whiskies. Now I know that's a technical term, but that's the casks that have been laid down in our last 13, 14 years. I think we've got some really great expressions of the Glenlivet. We went to the Founders Reserve and we wanted to keep the Glenlivet style there, but we wanted to do something a little bit different there, and we added that creaminess, toffiness to it using the American oak, first fill American oak. So yeah, that's a thing, but the industry is evolving, it will keep evolving, and the beauty of that, at the end of it, we've introduced our 50-year-old range. So something at each end, I think it's a great thing.
Which they named after you. Was this your idea? Did you know about it?
No,
Tell me
I
the
didn't.
origins of the Alan Winchester collection.
No, I didn't know about it. I took that as a great honour from the team. Yeah. No. I think I would be too modest to put my name in a whisky like that. Being a Northeast Scotsman, I like my whiskies to do the talking.
But did you pick this one?
Yeah, I was involved in the selection of the 50-year-old in 1964. Creeping very close to losing its strength for the Scotch whisky. So it's that, and we have the 1966. Don't know if you've seen it. It's down in the warehouse there. I think we've earmarked it for the next one. So
only a few people get to taste that one. What's it taste like?
it's lovely. It's got more. It's very much more of the Spanish oak influence, and a wee bit richer, sherried spicy. So. And also what I love is it's distinctly different from the first one that we've done. Yeah.
I think in Scotch whisky, at least, you and Richard Patterson are the only ones with a collection named after you.
Oh, is that right?
Actively working in the industry right now that have a collection named after you, and I could be wrong about that.
Well, that's a great honour if I'm following in Richard's footsteps. I was speaking to Richard week past Monday there, so I take that as an honour, which I always did.
So does the debut of the Alan Winchester collection mean you're getting closer to the end than to the beginning now? Are you on the back nine, as the golfers would say?
I suppose I am. I don't feel that old, but I suppose I have to look at that, and it's a good question, Mark, that every company should look at. Who's the guys behind? I'm quite confident that there's a lot of really good. My team's quite a lot of depth below me. Well, Trevor, the current distillery manager's doing tours today. There's juniors doing tours on some of the other sites, and they've the same as me. They've got the life knowledge. They've got the passion, which I always look at. Somebody asked me that recently. What do you need for a master? What qualifications do you? Well, I would expect a bit of passion to come through that door to replace me, as the guys before me had. You know Jim Cryle as well as me, that passion as well. And great to see Jim's doing well again. Speaking to him recently, the guys before me, I didn't know the captain. I knew of the captain. I certainly knew Bob Arthur, again a great nose, a great distillers which go back. And I've been blessed to know a few other distillers in my career as well.
You also have the role, in addition to being Master Distiller here, of essentially being the Master Distiller for the entire Chivas Brothers range.
Yes, yeah.
With overseeing all the distilleries. Tell me about the headaches or the joys of managing distilleries all over Scotland, from Orkney south to the lowlands practically.
Yes, well, yeah. The grain distillery comes within my remit. That's a fantastic spirit that we've actually bottled in the distillery collection, the 12-year-old Strathclyde. And I say to everyone, have a taste of it. You know, folks say, a grain whisky. No, have a look of it and see it, and you'll see something. And it's great. Compare it with a malt whisky if you want to, but it's a fantastic spirit for enjoying. I'm not going to say the word light because I've been giving folk a row for using light at Glenlivet, but it's a nice, approachable spirit. Totally different from the Glenlivet, of course. The joys of managing the distilleries, yeah, there is the things, but I think the pluses outweigh the negatives. I was up at Scapa Distillery 2 weeks ago, came back down in the ferry. It's away to see Scotland, and here was the killer whales heading into Scapa Flow. I was, like you, trying to get my camera in focus to try and get a picture of them with the Scapa sign in the background.
Right.
But the Master Distiller there's Brian, he's doing a great job. So yeah, there's a few of my team are Master Distillers as well.
Tell me about this room we're sitting in, because this is part of the visitor center now, but this room has a lot of history to it.
This is part of the 1858 flit, where the distillery moved from the top site, which is just behind us, moved down here in 1858. And the reason he moved it down here in 1858, he needed a bigger site. He'd taken the Minmore farm, so it's in the Minmore farm, and the railway was creeping up Speyside. It was going to reach where Cragganmore Distillery was built in 1863, and Cragganmore Distillery was built. I think Cragganmore is the first Speyside distillery to take advantage of the railway line. Again, a relation of the owner here, a Smith, built the distillery. I think he was a distant relation, but the Smith name's quite common here. Oh, sorry, back to the room, I digress as usual. This is the dam loft. The dam's behind us. The loft is the Scottish word for the top story, and the loft is where, loft we all think now is the attic, but the loft is where we stored the barley on the wooden floors, which this is part of because it was dry, and down below is the malting floors, which is now the visitor centre. And by the background noise you'll hear, there's quite a few visitors today.
Did you ever think when you started out 40 years ago that you'd be running visitor centers as well as a distillery and being a tourist attraction?
Well, we have a really good team that runs a visitor centre. We work closely with the visitor centre. I didn't think I would be. I didn't think I would be in charge of the Glenlivet at that time. That was seen as an epitome of the career, but I'm very proud to be associated with it now. Yeah.
But the visitors, nobody knew 40 years ago that these would become tourist attractions in their own right, did they?
No.
It's just a distillery.
I was given it was very difficult to get. It was very difficult for visitors to get into the industry. I probably started in that big change that the then owner of Glenfarclas had decided to build a visitor centre. The beauty of that was it gave us folk at school at Keith Grammar a chance to get a job for the summer and show visitors round. And folk were eager to see. I think maybe it was Glenfiddich. I know Tormore was an early show around the visitors. Folk would stop, and they had in fact, he was an old railway gentleman. I worked with him at Glenfarclas, and he showed visitors, and Glenfiddich were very successful as well. Now every distillery is open, and in fact, you'd count more open than there doesn't show around.
How do you want to be remembered?
Gosh, I would just want to be remembered that the whiskies under my stewardship have continued. I think I've been true to the classic style of the Glenlivet, of the whiskies that I'm in charge of, and I hope in 40 years' time that the folk are discussing the whiskies that I've made and saying, he did not a bad job.
Well, this was a 40-year-old that was made the year you started in the business.
Yeah.
Sláinte.
Sláinte more.
Thank you.
Great to see you again back at Glenlivet, Mark.
Thank you. Yeah. In Ballindalloch, Scotland, I'm Mark Gillespie.